Hey guys, welcome back to episode 11 of Words Are Tough, and that is R, like the letter R, just for our people searching out there when we talk about the podcast.
Correct.
Just remember that it's the letter R, so it makes it easier to find us, and that actually makes it way easier to find us.
Yes.
So thanks so much for checking us out. My name is Jose Rodriguez, and I'm here with my co-host,
David Diokendo.
and we have a really good episode today that I think is going to get a lot of energy out of us. That
I was looking forward to this episode for a while. It was pet peeves. For those individuals that don't know what pet peeve is simply something that a particular person finds especially annoying. And I don't know if Jose is like this, but I find almost everything annoying. Almost, even myself, especially myself, annoying.
You know what? It's funny because I'm actually really hard to annoy. So
I'm not.
A lot of times
Everything annoys me.
Yeah, even in like past relationships, I've been in relationships with people that they're annoyed about a lot of stuff, and they'll ask me like, how is that not annoying to you? You know, I guess it goes over my head a lot of the things, but I do have some.
Yeah. Well, I find most, if not all, things annoying, but I'm not like, I'm good at like keeping myself kind of calm and cool. You kind of have to, because I wouldn't be able to function at all if that was the case.
Yeah, we've been saving it up for this episode right here, and it's all going to come to fruition now.
And I mean, I drove here, and it happened while driving here. Or two things happened. The first one was people that drive on the left lane, or people that cruise on the left lane. And, I mean, do you know that you can't, not you, but legally you're not supposed to cruise on the left lane?
Yeah, definitely.
Most people don't know that. Like, oh, I'm just going to go 65 on a 65 on the left lane. That's called cruising, people. Don't do that. If you're going to cruise, just stay in the middle lane and cruise along.
Yeah, and even I remember when we were young lads and we were getting our IDs and licenses and everything, the cops told us there's a such thing called flow of traffic.
Yes.
Even if, let's say, the speed limit's 45 and you're on a highway and everyone's going 70, you can't go 45.
Yeah, go 70.
You got to go within 10 mile per hour range.
Yes.
As the traffic, even if it's above the speed limit.
Yeah, so those people that like being on their high horse, like, well, I'm driving the right way and everyone else isn't. No, it's one of those things, like, if everyone's doing it, you should do the same. It's the kind of like thing, like, if when in Rome, do what the Romans do. Like, if traffic is going like 75, 80, something that happens, you should keep up, not be that one person on the left lane going 65.
Yeah.
And it happens, and it causes traffic, and it's just annoying. And I legit hate people like that. And maybe they don't know. My assumption is that maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know that's legally, you're not supposed to do that. But I don't know. Like, I've been on the driving people and also driving with people, and they're like, we have arguments, and it's the weirdest thing. I mean, I had one student, I asked him, because he was taking his driver's test, and I said, if you ever see like a ball bouncing across the street, what do? He said, well, just speed up. It's just a ball. I'm like, wow. This episode is sponsored by Nbox, a modern mailing center designed to meet the security needs of our time. Whether it's shopping for our favorite products or paying monthly bills, statistics show a transition to online convenience. It's quick and simple, which is why we love it. Unfortunately, it's created a new kind of criminal that seeks to steal your identity or take your package right from your porch. At Nbox, your postal mail isn't delivered to a mailbox that thieves can access in order to discover your private information. Instead, your mail is scanned and uploaded to a secure app you can access from anywhere in the world. You control what's opened, forwarded, shredded, or discarded with just a few clicks. To sweeten the deal, you no longer have to worry about ordering expensive items online, only to have them sit in front of your residence unattended. Simply shop online as you normally would and ship everything directly to their secure facility. You'll receive an instant arrival notification so you can stop by for a pickup or arrange a custom delivery at a time when you're home to receive it. As a listener, you can enjoy $5 off the lifetime of your subscription to an N-Box package plan when you enter tough words without spaces at checkout. Visit www.nboxdelivers.com to learn more.
Awesome. Yeah, and we want to thank Nbox for being a part of our journey. It's really awesome what they're doing, and we're looking to both grow together in massive ways. Our next sponsor, of course, is our Day One Premier Rank Marketing. If you have any marketing needs, whether it's Facebook campaigns, social media presence, even they're doing TikTok ads now, all types of things, we've got you covered. Mailing lists, pretty much anything you need in today's climate to grow. They've pretty much shifted with the pandemic and, making your business a lot more digital. And, anytime that, things shut down, you could still keep on pushing forward and even double your profits that way online if you haven't set it up yet. So reach out to them. Their description is right below. And our other two sponsors are Rick's Barbershop. If you're in the Garfield area and you need a fresh cut for your date, for your headshots, whatever you have going on this weekend, visit Rick. Tell him Jose sent you, Jose and David, or WordsrTough sent you, and he'll definitely hook you up. And our last sponsor is Worldwide Solutions. If you right now tax season is over, but they also do insurance, travel. They do everything that a business needs, payroll, all types of things like that. Just reach out to them, and they can get you all the services that you need. We really appreciate all our sponsors. And back to the episode.
That's not it. The answer is you stop, because usually a child is running behind that ball trying to catch it. But I think just those are one of those things that, like, one causes accidents.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. And speaking of accidents, rubbernecking is 100% another thing that I hate. Accidents happen, and honestly, like, anytime there is like traffic, my hope is it's nothing serious. In all seriousness, when I'm stuck in traffic, I legit think I hope it's not an accident. If it is an accident, I hope everyone's okay, because accidents happen, and sadly people do pass due to accidents, or driving accidents. But what I hate the most is when there's just something off on the side of the road, and people just like slow down and just look and kind of cruise on by, and that gets me upset. I just start cursing, and
that's
like,
the second thing
I'm
I
that
hope.
guy, like, just yelling at nobody, cursing, and it's just annoying.
Yeah, I hope first off everyone's okay. Secondly, I hope it better be in my side of the highway.
Yeah,
if
like,
it's not,
that's worse. Is when it's in the other side of the highway. Like if we're on Route 80, it's like way over there, or 287.
Yeah,
it's just so not. I don't know. I just.
Maybe
it's New Jersey. Is it a New Jersey thing? Like, just get to where you need to get to? Is it like an East Coast, Northeast Coast thing?
I think so, because we get a bad rap for being bad drivers. So I think that it's something that's more towards like metropolitan areas where people are more in a rush. Living that like work life. Like that real work life. I know laid back people like in Texas, stuff like that. They love traffic.
Yeah. No, the thing is, like, I'm rarely ever in a rush. It's like I don't like wasting my time. I'm never like, hey, I woke up late and I gotta get here fast. It's usually I'm never in a rush. I just casually get to what I need to get to. But it's just kind of just following the rules, or like, I mean, this is not an episode just about driving, but like, ever heard of don't break the zipper?
No.
When you have lanes converging into one lane, right? And then so the person to your, just say you're driving on the left, the person in front of you goes, and the person to your right should go.
Oh yeah,
it's like
definitely.
It's like you go, I go, you go. Like, it's called don't. I guess you could call it don't break the zipper, don't break the chain. It's just that, and I hate it when you're being like courteous to the person in front of you or next guy over, and and the guy behind him kind of rushes up
and
cuts you off. Like, it's like, why?
That one gets me.
We're gonna get there. You're not gonna get there any sooner by cutting in front of me. Maybe like, I don't know how long a car is, but like a car's length ahead. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that one really gets me, actually. I didn't even think of that, but I do pass through 2 merges every day when I go to work, so it's been more prevalent in my life, and that does get me really angry.
It's I don't know.
One more driving related one I have is everything turn signals. Like when someone doesn't use a turn signal, or when someone leaves their turn signal on and they don't realize they have it on, that really bothers me too, especially when you're at like a stop sign and they're coming this way, so you don't know if like they're turning and you can go, that's a rough one for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think most, because I don't know how it's for you, but like I'm driving at least maybe 2 hours minimum of a day, driving to and from work, and sometimes going to the gym and just doing different errands. If I were to add all my hours together, it might be up to close to 2, maybe more than that. So that's a lot of time being in one place. So I don't know, I can't do percentages. Maybe like it's like what, 10% of your day. So it's a good amount of your day just like and I didn't realize this until like Louis C.K. mentioned this in one of his jokes, is like people are really brave when they're in a car. I mean, and I know when I'm driving, I'm like cursing and whatever, but I'm never like, telling a guy to, fight me or anything like that. But like sometimes you'll look at people and like, you're talking to me? But there's this thing, like if there wasn't this vehicle between us, or this piece of metal or glass between us, you wouldn't be yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like you really wouldn't. And it happened to me one time after jiu-jitsu. I was trying to back out of a space. So I was trying to back out of a space, and there's an open parking space to the left of my car. And I noticed this woman try to come in, and she was just kind of going way too wide. And almost hit my car. Fine. My car is whatever. I drive it just a Centro, so it doesn't really matter.
And so you're in the lot of your gym?
Yeah, I'm in like the parking lot, and I just got out. Like, I'm the most docile after jiu-jitsu. Like nothing bothers me for a good like 3 or 4 hours. But this woman kind of keeps turning wide and almost hitting my car, and I'm like, okay, whatever. She backs up, goes back in, and she can't seem to like get the angle. She's driving a truck, and what I do is I just kind of put my blinker on. I start backing up, and she honks a horn at me. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to get out, so you don't have to worry about hitting my car. And she's literally just cursing at me, like, fuck you, you piece of shit. I'm like,
oh my God.
And I'm like, I need to let me back up. And I put my window down. I'm like, I'm going to back out. And she just starts cursing at me. So I did the dumbest thing possible. Like, don't do this. If you're brown like me or darker, don't do this. I got out of my car and approached her.
Oh, man.
And I knocked on her window. I'm like, is there a problem? Are you okay? I was legit like, are you all right? And she just, like, looked at me in shock. Like, in fear. Like, she was legit fearful. And I'm not intimidating by any means. Like, and I actually sincerely felt bad. I was like, oh, like, this woman is actually terrified. That wasn't even my intention. I was just legit like, if you want to like talk to me, then all right, what's the issue? I'm trying to get out.
Yeah.
And then she never puts down the window. She just looks at me in shock. And then I get back in my car, I back out, and I leave. I felt bad, but I was thinking like, wait, that could have been really bad.
Yeah,
that could have ended up really, really bad. I wasn't even like legit angry. I was just like very confused and like, why are you cursing at me? And I'm not doing anything I guess to harm you in any way.
That wasn't necessarily road rage, but maybe on her part a little bit. But that is something crazy because there's something to be said, like I've heard on other podcasts and people that are like psychologists and things like that driving puts people in this mental state because they're driving a vehicle. It's almost like you have a weapon, but like not you're thinking of it that way, but you're like driving a weapon, pretty much. Like you're going 90 miles an hour and someone almost hits you, you get really offended. It threatens your life, and your subconscious and you're pretty much ready to throw down. You know, like some people, yeah, people are ready to pull over and just fight. People have weapons in their car. You never know what they're carrying. You'd never know. Somebody just lost their life savings on a bet, you know, like a sports bet last night, and they're ready to throw it all away. You got to be careful out there.
Stocks just plunge and you lose everything. And I don't know, AMC. Actually, this is a side note. I bought AMC stock, not a lot, like maybe like 10 or 12, at like $9 or $9.50.
That's awesome. You're sitting pretty.
And now it's like 60.
Yeah. I hit 61 today.
So I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even, there's some like online community thing, and that I just, all I did, and this had nothing to do with pet peeves, but all I did was like, hey, I like AMC, I like movies, let me just invest in AMC. It's only $9, $9.50. I have like $90 to spare, you know, after paying bills, so let me just invest. And then within like, I don't know, a month, it goes from like $10 to like $6.60. I'm like, oh, that's really great timing. And ignorance is bliss, because I found out that there's this big community online on Reddit that's like all about AMC. I didn't even know that. But.
Yeah, and a lot of what you did is a lot of the core principles of like what you should do when you invest. Like, one, you believe in the company.
Yeah.
Two, don't care about it as much, because then there's the people like me that watch it go up, and then like at 2 o'clock we're like, oh, it went down 3%.
Like
yeah, like some people like we mentioned on another podcast, not to get too far off tangent, but they'll buy some investments and then just delete the app. You know, so like you're not like looking at it all day, and then it's maybe we've said it on this podcast. I'm just repeating myself, but
I mean, that happens. I mean, people repeat themselves all the time.
Yeah, but that's awesome, and look, it worked out awesome for you. You know, you believed in it. You didn't take it to heart too hard, and you used money that, like you said, it was, you know, spare money. It's not going to make or break you.
Yeah, if I lost, I mean, $90 is nice to have. If I had $9 in my pocket, I'd be like, that's nice, but like I already paid all my bills and such. But
yeah, and now you're flipping it into like, you know, something nice.
Yeah, a few hundred.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I think.
But speaking, I don't know, I just cut you off. But speaking of AMC, I mean, I love going to the movies. Like that, it was my, I guess you can say hobby. Like I love maybe it's nostalgic or whatever. Maybe it's just it's a thing I really like to do as a kid. Because when I was a kid, we didn't have that much money, so when we went to the movies, it was like an event, you know. So I'm the type of guy that would just go to the movies by himself. Like I see a movie I want to see, like it's like out now. I'll just go to matinee, pay like I don't know $6-7.
Matinee is awesome.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what a matinee is to some people that don't know this?
I used to take my parents to this all the time because in my line of work I have off Mondays and they're off Monday, so it works perfect for us. But before the pandemic, you know, my parents would be home and trying to find things to do with them. It's hard because, you know, it's got to be earlier with my parents and things, you know. So matinee is different theaters have different times, but when you go to the theater, pretty much for like the first opening shows all the way up to some theaters do 1 p.m., some do 2 p.m. All the prices are reduced, and you pretty much get to watch a movie for like $6, $7, depending on the theater. If you go to some local theaters, then the deal's even better. Some of them are like $4.50.
Yeah,
and it's great. You know, you could like see a movie every week if you want matinee.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, even to this day, when I watch a movie at home, I have to eat popcorn. It's homemade, so I'm not like lathering butter on it, and it's just sprinkle some salt, you're fine. But this is like maybe like 15 or so years ago. I was maybe like 20, 21 years old, and I was I call them friends by proxy. Friends by proxy is just like, hey, you have friends from school, and you're just friends because you go to the same school. But I had friends by proxy from my church I used to attend many years ago, and this is one kid I don't like him at all. I mean, he's fine now. I guess I hope he's good. I haven't spoken to him, but at the time I hated him. But he would always suggest, hey, is anyone hungry? Who wants to buy popcorn? And he wouldn't pay. He would just suggest it, and like other people would pay for it. And he would suggest, oh, get the large one. And he was that guy. So I'm getting to the theme of pet peeves, but that's just annoying. Like, hey, if you're hungry, just say you're hungry, buy your own food. You know, I mean, luckily my fiance doesn't do that. Like, hey, like, are you hungry? Oh, I'll just get some of your stuff. She never does that. She gets her own stuff, which is awesome. But he always did this, and the first time this happened, I bought popcorn. He's like, hey, get like the really big one, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And I'm just using like my college money, like which I'm paying off now still, and the loans that they just give you. Like, why are you trusting kids, like 19-year-old kids with like thousands of dollars? It's ridiculous. Anyway, but I buy the popcorn. We sit down. I don't even remember the movie they were watching, and the pet peeve is like people that lick their fingers when they eat food, especially food that they're sharing, like finger foods. So he would reach in the popcorn, like eat it, and then do that, and then reach back in. And I'm like, this fucking asshole. And I mean, I was a super Christian at the time, so I was like, this, French toast, so and so. I wasn't cursing at the time. But I was thinking like the worst things, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Oh, my bad, bro. I'm sorry. Like, are you alright? Do you want me to go to?" I'm like, just take it. And he would do this every time to another person.
Oh my god, yeah.
And and popcorn isn't cheap. I mean, most of these theaters are like their money comes from this concession stand. So sometimes these popcorns could be easily like $10-12,
Yeah, and you know what? Recently I found out they just revamped the popcorn, and we went to go see A Quiet Place 2, and there was a new item on the popcorn list, and it was bacon popcorn. So now
they want people to die.
Yeah, they sell this like little it's almost like the container where like you get food to go, where you like pop it open, it's styrofoam.
Okay.
And it's just like a layer of popcorn, and they put like bacon bits all on top of it. And I was like, wow, I'm like, this. They've been put together some plans.
Yeah. Well, I know Sinopolis. I don't know if they're still around, but I live near Rockaway, and there's a Sinopolis near the Rockaway area, and they had the best deal. Like, if you ate your popcorn and you didn't want it anymore or wanted to exchange it, they'll just dump the old popcorn and give you like another popcorn. That theater or that particular building is like no longer around, understandably, because they did that. But I would like, I would say, hey, like this caramel, that caramel popcorn is awesome, but like it was just too much sugar. And I say, hey, like I don't really want this anymore, but it's like half full. They're like, oh, it's okay, we'll refill it with just regular. Wow. And I'm like, awesome. Sadly, they didn't last it through the pandemic, understandably, but it's one of those things. I don't know, like when it comes to like food, like I don't like people that like cough and don't cover their mouth, like things like that. I don't know, to me it's just like common, it's just the right thing to do, just common courtesy, like cover your mouth. It's not like a political thing. Like I hope now though, because I just came from CVS to buy my carbonated urine beverage thing, but I went in and I wasn't wearing a mask, there was no signs, and I'm vaccinated and all that, so but I saw some people with masks, and I'm like, oh, should I go back inside my car and grab a mask? And I asked the lady, and she's like, no, it's okay, you don't have to. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just hoping the habit of, because in Japan this is normal, like if you're sick or ill or under the weather, like people wear masks normally. It's not it's not like it's not a statement of any sort, so I'm hoping as things get back to normal, quote unquote, I'm hoping people adopt wearing a mask if you're just sick. It's just courtesy, just not being a jerk. I don't know. Yeah.
And it's funny that you mentioned something food related like that, because the first one on my list was chewing with your mouth open. So
okay. If you would hate it being Japan or China then, because that's a thing.
Yeah, you know what though? A lot of their food is not as chewy as here, where like loud and crunchy, but it's really when you can hear it and stuff like that bothers me.
When they emphasize the noise and yeah.
Or if they're chewing with their mouth open and talking, now that is like a lot, and that really bothers me. But yeah, that's pretty much. So if someone in the future was going to be a guest on our show and they just really wanted to piss us off, they'd come here and chew with their mouth open and lick their fingers.
Yeah. I did. This is many this is some time ago, but I had one date where, most dates I've been on in the past were usually like eating something, dinner or lunch. But usually food's involved. But this is one date that she would only ask me questions when I'm literally, my mouth is full. And she'll ask me a question, I'm like, give me 1 second, because I can't say, I just kind of do this, and but she kept doing that, and I'm like, I don't want to be a jerk and just talk with my mouth full. But it was a persistent thing, enough that I just don't talk to her anymore. Like, that's how, like, when people don't know this, but like, if you start annoying me consistently, I just cut you off. Like, I can't do it. I can't deal with it. My circle of friends is getting smaller and smaller. I'm becoming that old cranky man from like Up. Like, that's gonna be me. I mean, I hope my fiance doesn't pass away anytime soon. But yeah, like, that's gonna be me 100%.
And that'll be like you're like, get off my lawn.
Yeah, like Clint Eastwood. And was that one movie with Clint Eastwood where he's like, get off my lawn, and it's like Mexicans or Asians?
Yeah, it's I know what you're talking about. Gran Torino.
Yeah, it's
my memory's a little better today.
Yeah, now it's, if I were to watch a movie now, like,
yeah, no, I've
right.
heard a lot of outcry about that movie, especially this year.
It didn't age well.
No, it did not.
It didn't age well at all, and that's one thing that's kind of annoying when people like kind of cling on to, like, I guess you call them old classics, and they don't want to recognize that movie just kind of just sucks now. Like, one thing that I posted on Facebook, and yes, I use Facebook. I'm an older guy. I put, like, I'll say it, Caddyshack sucks, and so many of my like older friends are like 40 and above. They're like, it's a classic, and Bill Murray and what's the guy that says, I get no respect? Rodney Dangerfield, and it's a classic. Like, it's old. It didn't age well at all. It's like, comparing, like I mentioned in the last episode, Dune from the 80s and like Blade Runner. Like, one obviously aged a lot better.
Yeah.
And the other, people don't even know even exists anymore, because it was just that bad. It just didn't age. It was old for the time,
Yeah. No, yeah, that's something else. You know what else too reminds me of Dune, that I saw online the other day, and I figured would be cool to just throw out there, for fans of Westworld. The original Westworld, the movie I saw, and I heard that one's also one of those where you look back and you're like, still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't look cheesy.
I didn't know about the initial, the first one, until after the modern contemporary version.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't know until I joined like fans of Westworld on Facebook and all these groups, because I really liked the show, and I had waited. That was one of the shows that actually I didn't even mention. That was a pandemic show for
Oh.
If you guys didn't check that episode out, check it out.
We talk about all the movies that we watched.
Yeah.
That we want to watch, that we're gonna watch, that we have watched during the pandemic and all that.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, that's another one of those that for me that was really awesome. But yeah, so
I am curious more about because I've been talking about what I hate the most, but like, because you say you don't get annoyed that much, so I'm actually curious what, other than the whole slurping of the food. I have one of my best friends is actually Chinese, and every time he would come over when we were kids, or in college, not kids, he would eat my mom's food, and like, he'll be eating, talking, like, this is delicious, and he loves it. And I see over my brother just like shaking his head, like, this guy doesn't stop talking. Like, he keeps talking even when he's eating. Yeah. But it is like a cultural thing to be very vocal for some, I guess, Asian countries to be very kind of loud when you're, especially soup.
Yeah.
Like,
see, that doesn't bother me as much. Same thing with pasta. Some people are like a little loud with pasta. That doesn't bother me as much either. But I think it's just the smacking of, like, lips and stuff when they're chewing. Yeah.
That.
And like chewing gum too. Like that will also get to me. But again, that one isn't on my like power rankings, like the top towards the top.
That's not up there.
Yeah. So
the slurping of the soup, I understand it, but audibly it bothers me. Even if I understand like why they're doing it or if it's just normal for them, it's still just the ASMR thing. It just doesn't ring, like the sound in my ears is irritating.
Yeah.
You know, like a baby crying. It just I hate when babies cry. I mean, obviously babies should cry and they're allowed to cry, obviously, but like. When you hear a baby cry, you're like, oh great, like, oh, when are they gonna stop? And I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate saying I hate the sound of babies crying, but I don't like the sound of a child crying at all. Like when I travel, you know, like traveling, which is great, but the thing that sucks about traveling is traveling. If that makes any sense, like it's like because unless you're some. I mean, for the most part, unless we're not flying, you know, with like a private airplane anytime soon, or ever. So for the most part, when you're flying with other people. It's like great, but I'll admit though, I'm happy until I see a kid, you know, like a toddler or even a newborn, God forbid, and I'm like, oh great, like I'm like, can I get some headphones or earplugs? Because, like, by the way, I can't say the word suffer from vertigo, but I actually have vertigo and have, like I said, imbalance in my brain because of, like, ear infections growing up. But, like, I know when we're taking off, like, immediately you're just going to hear just kids crying because, like, it bothers them and it bothers everybody, but, like, we don't cry. We just kind of just take it and, like, that's just a part of the traveling package where your ears pop and stuff.
Yeah, one time I fell asleep on a plane and I woke up when we landed, and I've never had such an intense pain in my life. I had, like, I guess all the pressure had built up, and since I was asleep,
you're unaware of the pressure.
You weren't like chewing or like yawning to get the pressure out.
You were moving around or
eating.
Yeah.
And I woke up and it felt like my head was gonna explode. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, man, that was a tough one for me.
What's another? Because is chewing free or just snapping or smacking, chewing? What else?
I had the turn signal in there, so both of them have worked off of the ones you said too, so, which is pretty good.
I mean, I always want to encourage in the middle of the podcast, like, hey, like, what are things that you guys find irritating, or what pet peeves that you have? But one thing. And this is a terrible segue, but whatever. But one thing I hate the most is motivational, like, quotes.
Okay.
Especially, like, motivational quotes where, like, usually on Instagram or TikTok, where I don't think really TikTok has it, but Instagram always has it. It's like, it'll be like Samuel L. Jackson or Morgan Freeman or, I don't know, some random person. And they'll just have a quote underneath it. I'm like, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing that he said, and nor would he ever say it. But one thing I hate the most, I mean, I'm a teacher, so you're always trying to figure out ways of how to motivate kids. But I say don't try to motivate kids. Teach them discipline, not motivation. Is when people say, you know, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yeah.
And you know why I find that annoying?
Why?
It's mathematically impossible. You fall down 7, you get up 7. Yeah. You don't get up 8. That doesn't make mathematical sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one.
Like, how are you doing that? Like, how would you be in space? I have no clue how that would even be possible. You're like, oh, and this is not like dumb people don't say this, but like you like legit like motivational speakers or, you know, gym people that are trainers or you know, people that you may even look up to, even actors will say that.
Yeah.
You know, you fall down 7, you get up 8, or fall down 5 times, you get up 6. Like, that's not how falling and getting up works. That's
they should
not
be
how
equal.
It works. They should be equal.
Do you know who's hot right now in the quote game that they're using a lot in pictures now? I noticed recently, the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, like as the Joker, and it'll be like. Dang it. It'll be like
as Joaquin as the Joker.
As the Joker, yeah, and it'll have quotes, and it'll be like, "Some people don't understand me until they understand me." Something weird like that.
It's just so stupid. And I don't know. It's just. I mean,
that's how I know.
I'm going off on a tangent now, but like with motivational speaking, like also like self-help books. If self-help books worked, you wouldn't have so many of them. Like if they actually worked, why are there so many self-help books? Because they don't actually work. It's just authors trying to just capitalize on like, hey, I have a name. People have I have an audience, and I want to just sell a book, and make some money, which is fine. Who doesn't want to make money? But like, don't buy them, like, and don't take them seriously. Like, people legit, and a lot of times, like, those people that are motivational speakers, they're successful because they're motivational speakers. But then when you ask them, what do you actually do? They're like, oh, I'm a motivational speaker. Like, yeah, I know, I get that. What do you do? Like, where do you get your money from? Where did you get to where you are before the motivational speaking? What did you do? Well, I started in corporate, and like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, it's just another dude. Like, okay, I found a niche to make money, and I don't know. It's just being motivational is fine, but like, motivation only gets you started. It doesn't get you through the finish line, or doesn't get you through whatever you want to get to. Motivation just kind of gets you, okay, I'm motivated to go to the gym, whatever. But like, it's sort of establishing establishing discipline, skills, habits, or good habits, consistency. That gets you continuing to go. But motivation is so fickle. It's like the most fickle thing ever. Like, if motivation is all you needed, then I don't know, then you're special, in my opinion. But yeah, like, cool, like this inspirational, like Fitspo kind of stuff. I don't know. I think it's just a bunch of nonsense. And a lot of times these guys are just, they don't know what they're talking about. They're kind of putting off this sort of like image, that isn't real, or more like people. They kind of put out, like, when I say these people, I mean, like, I guess I call them online celebrities, where like they don't really do anything. They're just really good looking for the most part, or semi or somewhat attractive, and there's an appeal to them for whatever reason, and they just say these things, and I'm like, no, you just saw that on TikTok and you're just repeating it, and then like, now you're getting your views and someone else sees it and they're repeating that. But a lot of times, like, the information they're giving out, it doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, and you know what, too? Working in social media and working with a lot of companies, to be honest with you, sometimes, like, as we're taking in the information they're putting out, we take it like that. But from from their side, most of the time, it's just people who don't have content. And they're looking for stuff to post, and then they're like, all right, so you know what? Quotes are good. I can knock out 20 of these posts in, like, one night. And have 20 posts ready. I could post them every 2 days, and now I got 40 days of content. And then, or even like YouTube people that just post, just I don't know, something just dumb. Like this one guy, and I actually do like his videos because I love Let's Plays, like where you watch people play video games. Yeah. But like it just, like, I mean, maybe call me a hater. Call me a hater. I don't care. But. This guy's Markiplier, he has obviously millions of followers. Respectfully, he deserved those millions of followers and subscribers, and he deserves the success that he's gotten. I'm not gonna take that away from him, but all he did was post a 30-second video of his dog Chica, who was an adorable golden retriever, like millions of views. Wow! I'm like, there's nothing. It's a cute dog, but there's nothing here. There's just maybe it made people happy to see a happy golden retriever, but like, all right, like if I had millions of followers, subscribers, maybe I wouldn't just post any arbitrary thing, because like, I don't know. it just I don't know. Call me a hater, whatever. I'm not. It's just kind of arbitrary content for content's sake. I just am not a fan of, and also like YouTubers. And I mean, and I feel kind of cringy. I kind of cringe myself when I say, hey, make a comment, subscribe, whatever. And it is important. And believe it or not, when you say that, it actually works. People actually do subscribe when you say subscribe, or people like. And on that note, give us a like down below. Yeah, sure. Why not? Give us a like if you have any pet peeve or have ever been annoyed in your life. Please do. But it's like that's fine. Like, hey, if you care to like and subscribe, please do so. If it makes you happy or whatever, that's great. But it's those people that would be like, smash that like button, you know, like pound that subscribe, whatever,
hang on the rim,
you know, slap that bell. It's like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Like,
slap that bell.
Like
hashtag slap that bell.
It's you know, I'm like, all right, like, does that work? I don't know. But it's always like, you know, smash, slap, punch. I don't know. It's very aggressive things that you wouldn't do. It's like, you mean like touch, like that? Like, okay, if that's a smash, sure, fine. But that's like the weirdest thing when like a particular phrase, just a, you know, lingo develops. Like now, every single other YouTuber says smash that like button.
Yeah, that's the
I
new.
can't wait till something else takes its place. I really can't. You know, it's one of those things. So yeah, there you go. So this is where I get not annoyed, but it's just, you know, when you kind of not see how the sausage is made, but you know, when you kind of see like, okay, some people just act, they kind of just perform something. And I'm not saying we're not performing, because to a certain degree, you know, anytime you put a camera in front of your face, to a large degree, there is a bit of a performance because you're aware of the camera, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, I have something to say, you have something to say, which is fine. But like, my behavior now, how I'm speaking now, isn't significantly in any way different of how I would normally speak in, as well as you. I literally came here and wearing this. Like,
yeah,
these are actually my glasses. This is my actual hair.
We're not putting on like a yeah. We're performing, but we're not putting on like a
facade.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not you know, like I guess keeping in the theme, like I'm all about art. Like I love art, so do you, and in the creative fields in every way, and especially I love when I see like some great makeup artists. Like, it's pretty remarkable and pretty impressive. But, this is a but. If you're going to go to the mall, actually, do people even do that anymore? Go to the mall? But if you're going to, like, go on a date or whatever, don't, like, add contours to your face that don't even exist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you see people,
I see it all the time.
And I'm not saying women, because there's some great drag queens that do the same. It's, like, a huge transformation. It's impressive. But at the same time, you know, I mean, I'm saying specifically the everyday person, not putting on a performance, but like, why are you making pretend like you have a pointed nose when your nose is just rounded? Like, they literally add contours on their nose and highlights where it looks like their nose is pointed.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
I think it's just people who do have an issue with parts of their face, and that's an easy way to do it, is without doing surgery. But I
suppose.
Yeah, but you know, it is. Have you ever seen someone do that like really fast?
No.
It looks weird at the beginning step. Like I thought it was. I think it was on TikTok. I was like,
like the steps, like that they do everything.
Yeah, like if they just do the lines at first, because they just do.
Oh yeah. The process. I've seen those process. I'm like,
it's very cat-like.
Yeah,
like
and
cats.
And I actually, you know, I love visual art. I see the craft behind it when I see like, you know, movies or plays with like great makeup artists. It's like amazing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying literally like you're gonna go out and hang out with people.
Yeah.
and somehow you have like a butt chin. Like people will
a butt chin.
will literally like put a butt chin. I'm like, why? What are you doing? Like, why?
You know what's the other one? The freckles. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
Girls
freckles.
That do the freckles.
Fake freckles. Some people tattoo freckles. I've seen people tattoo freckles. My stepmom many years ago, she tattooed eyeliner. Her eyes are swollen for like 2 weeks.
Very prevalent in the Latino community.
But I will say this: it isn't aging well. You know, this is many years ago.
There's some new thing.
Look right.
It's called microblading, and it's awesome. Actually, it looks so real.
What's microblading?
Microblading, it's like they take like, I don't know, I would say like a razor, but you know, some kind of cutting, and what they do is they they keep the hair you do have, because most of the time it's like me, I barely have eyebrows, but like but that's usually women.
You have enough to have eyebrows.
Yeah. So these girls want fuller eyebrows. So what she does is she keeps the hair, but then she does like little micro like cuts, and then they put like it's almost like a tattoo, but instead of it like being like a pen where it gets like really thick and you just gotta like, you know, fill it in, it's just like little slices, so it looks like hair. And it's actually crazy. I'll put some links to it in the description.
But it's I mean, I don't know, I feel bad for people that get pulled into this sense of I mean, I guess it still fits in the pet peeve thing, like where they get sucked into the like, I have to look like this. Oh, my eyebrows aren't the right way, and they put more time and energy into like, you know, this sort of look as opposed to like working on themselves, like their personality or their character, or like you need therapy, or you know, things like I rather put money into therapy or like a good counselor than before. You know, pretty much my maintenance is like I might have a hair or two and I just pluck. That's pretty much it. Then when I want to shave a little bit, I shave, and that's pretty much it. Like I don't do. I have a bar of soap at home to clean my face. I have a generic shampoo and conditioner, and that's it. Like I don't. Maybe it's easy. Maybe I'm privileged. I don't know what you want to call it, but like
maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it's not.
I have no clue. Yeah. But yeah, I feel kind of. It bothers me when I see like people that need to like maintain this look, and I'm like, but I mean, maybe I'm putting my significant other on a pedestal. I think one of the reasons why I found her so attractive, especially early on, is because she put on literally no makeup or very little makeup. It's like barely noticeable, and so it's not like, oh, one day she's like all like dressed up and her eyes are, you know, a particular way, that the next day is like, oh, I didn't recognize you. And I've had friends or people I've been on dates with or been in relationships with, but like during the date I didn't even recognize them. I was like waiting for them outside, like, oh, where are you? Like, I'm right here. Like, oh, did they even recognize you? Like, you look completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a talent, it's a skill, but it's like, I don't know, like this, I don't know, be consistent. I have no way of ending that thought, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I've always been also attracted to less makeup myself. You know, but I see some people, it like, I guess it's like a confidence thing, so it just helps them feel, I guess, you know, better, and they can go through their day better. I
guess.
Yeah.
But then like you're afraid to actually show your real face. Like, what if a guy wakes up next to you, or your significant other wakes up to you, and like they see you natural, and they're like,
well, that's like did you see, I think it was Japan or China, I'll find the link to the actual story, but this really, like, I guess billionaire, I might be lying, he might just be a millionaire, but whatever, you know, really rich guy.
Rich.
He married a woman who was you know,
I know that
very
story.
attractive.
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
And then they had kids, and the kids looked like her before she got all her surgeries. And a lot of times in Asian culture, like when they do these procedures, it's not like in America where it's a little different. It's not in America like people just want to look a certain way. There, they have like certain ties to features that they dislike, you know, especially even like the coloration of their skin. Like, you know, in certain parts of Asia, they want to be lighter. So a lot of these procedures, they do it because it's looked down upon, like their status.
Like, it's like a class thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, let's say like noses, like they want thinner noses, and so now this woman got over something like tons of surgeries, and now the kids look like what she used to look like before.
They have her genes,
exactly,
not her surgeries.
Her genes, you know,
cannot pass down surgery.
Those lower class genes are strong. They're real strong. You know how it is, because you know there's a lot more mixing going on down there. So.
But what happened to her? Like, did he?
He sued her and he divorced her. So it was a very sad story.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, especially I wonder how the kids would feel. You know?
Well, I understand the breaking up part, like, okay, but the suing part, like, I'm gonna sue you because I find you, because I mean, I don't know.
I think the suing might be for part? Like, it might just be like academic in the case, so she doesn't get like his money. maybe.
Oh, maybe they didn't have a prenup, but I don't know how it is in other countries. But yeah, maybe that's the case. Like, hey, I don't want you to take all my money. Cause
yeah, he found a way out. But yeah, I'll definitely put the link in the story in the description, so you guys could check that out. There was also another thing when you said when there's a ball on the street, do you run it over? I'm gonna put a link to another thing that happened. Why you don't run over things when you see them on the highway.
Why is that? What's the?
Well, there was like this little tire that was rolling in the highway, and the guy could have swerved, but he did
just kind of kept going.
And the car freaking
just
flipped.
flipped.
But like not even like I've never seen anything like it. It was like a tire or a wheel, and it was like fumbling around, and then I guess it happened to like land perfectly, like a ramp, right in front of the car's vehicle, and it shot up like an action movie. Like, I know, yeah. So,
I never run over anything, like a dead squirrel, raccoon. Actually, recently, this past week, everything's happened this past week, but there was this dead raccoon in the middle of the road, and everyone in front. You can kind of see people start swerving around, and you're kind of looking. I'm like, oh, it's a raccoon. It's dead, but you can tell it's freshly dead. It's like the night before it just died, got hit by something, and the guy behind me, just like, fuck it, and he just kept going. And I looked behind, you can kind of see it, and the guy went, and then the thing just exploded.
Oh my god!
Like I was just like, this guy is heartless. Like, I mean, I know it's dead, but like, why are you running over a dead raccoon? I mean, yes, he was driving a truck. Yes, yes, he had American flags on the truck. He fit the stereotype, I guess.
He had a set of
he just
balls.
yelled. He just yelled, "America!" He just ran over a raccoon. But that's some good roadkill. I actually have a professor or former professor that I'm still friends with today, where he knows how to like cook and prepare roadkill.
Wow!
So he can like eat it. He actually wrote a book called "Eat Your Sidewalk." Not literally eat your sidewalk, but his name is Ian Kerr, really cool guy. He's one of the most interesting people I know. He reminds me of Dwight from like The Office, but like way smarter.
Wow!
Like imagine if Dwight was like a doctor. He wrote a book called Eat Your Sidewalk, and look it up. Ian Kerr, IAIN Kerr, KERR. Eat Your Sidewalk. He talks about like
nice,
literally walking in a suburban area, and plants that you can eat, and you know even
like,
how to
like foraging, right?
Foraging pretty much, and just there's a squirrel, and knowing when it's healthy to if it's good to eat or not, and how to prepare and everything.
Yeah,
interesting. Had nothing to do with like pet peeves, but whatever. It's a good interesting book. I think I have a copy of it. But yeah.
I once dated a girl from Vermont, and we would meet halfway and stuff. We didn't meet online. We met online, but she was here at the time, and then she moved to Vermont, so we kind of kept it going.
That's nice.
And yeah, and her, out in Vermont, it's like a lot of that woodland life. And one time she came down, and she's like, "Yeah, my dad was cooking squirrel, and he does like the taxidermy stuff."
Okay.
So then I was like, "Oh, so that's how she told me he cooked it." I was like, "Oh, so what do you like? He just finds dead squirrels?" And she's like, "No, he hunts them." And he kills them.
Yeah, you can trap them. You can hunt
and
trap
then he eats them.
Yeah.
And then he taxidermies them. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
At that point, I never knew anyone ate squirrel.
Yeah. I've never had it, but I do plan on hunting squirrel. I have a bow.
Nice.
And it's too much to kill squirrel with. It's a 70-pound draw weight. It's overkill. It's easier just to get a slingshot and just hit it and then break his neck.
My dad might need your services. He's got some squirrels that they love. Like as soon as we get a new plant, they come and like just take all the dirt out and put some like peanuts in there. We don't know where they're getting these peanuts, but like it's like the peanuts with the shells, like full peanuts.
I don't know how we are with time, but I'll say my last pet peeve, and you just mentioned it. Wasn't even on my list. Is squirrels and chipmunks. I hate squirrels and chipmunks. I remember my fiance, we gardened it. We were gardened, first time ever where she was just like so upset. We were gardening strawberries, And every morning we would see, and they like, you know. And by the way, squirrels, fuck you. I hate you, squirrels. They're so wasteful. People think, oh, squirrels are so like they're animals. They're like one with nature and whatever. They're so wasteful. They'll just like grab a tomato, bite into it. It's not ripe. They just leave it there. You just see a unripened tomato, but like because it's not ripe, they just leave it there. They don't even finish eating it. They're just like, don't bury it. They don't do anything. Same thing with chipmunks. Like they'll just nibble on a strawberry, and if it's not ripe, they just stop eating it, and it's dead. It's the most annoying thing. And my fiance was like, I want strawberries. I want these squirrels dead. Like I want to kill them. And it's just actually too dangerous to just walk around your backyard and with a bow and like a 70-pound bow and arrow. It doesn't make sense. I want to buy just a regular sink shot.
Yeah.
And you kind of just knock them out, and then you can break their neck.
I don't know why with the slingshot, it sounds kind of like it's like
Dennis the Menace kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like kind of a cute way to kill a squirrel. You know, like you knock them out. Like, you know, like I guess the cartoons, you see the little like stars.
Yeah. They're menaces. I really don't. Luckily, I mean, I don't have any issue with a rabbit, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan of how do you say backyard wildlife. They're fine if you're not trying to grow anything. If you're not trying to like, and not just like flowers. Like, okay, if you have a flower, it gets killed, whatever, it's a flower. But if you're actually trying to grow food that you actually plan on eating, it's very like frustrating and disheartening, you know.
Yeah. And it's funny because back to like the squirrels that are like my dad's arch nemesis, there's one specific that's like the boss, and it's like it's an all black squirrel, which also that's another thing I'd never seen before.
That's very Canadian, actually.
Yeah.
Canada's all black squirrels.
And it was all black, and one day I saw it and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. Not a fan. I mean but the thing is, the squirrels are just rats with furry tails. They're just rats.
Yep.
No one likes rats. But for whatever reason, you get a rat, you put a furry tail on it, it's somehow cute all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't find them cute. Crying baby squirrel, equally annoying.
Yeah, so I have a few more on my list. I'll go through them quickly. You let me know what you think.
I'll stop talking because I'll just keep going.
Let me see. The one that really bothers me, and it's a two-parter, so it's the first thing is people who are in a public place, especially small confined places that talk on speakerphone on their phone. That really pisses me off. Or like people that'll like be listening to like TikTok or YouTube like loud as hell, and like especially in workplaces, and like you're trying to do work and like someone's kid is like blasting, Yu-Gi-Oh or something.
That's common. If you ever take the bus, there's always that one person.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in Newark or Elizabeth or Union or Jersey City. There's that one person just like walkie-talkie, not walkie-talkie, but like speakerphone, talking loud. They look at them. Like, you look at them like, hey, like, seriously? And they look at you like, mind your own business.
Yeah. And I'll be like, oh, that's probably why no one wants to give you a ride. You probably would get a ride somewhere if you didn't do that.
Yeah.
But also, people who will answer their phone in the middle, like, especially, this is specific more to work. Like, let's say you're going to, like you're doing at my storage, you do a contract. Like, they'll be doing a contract. Like, we're doing a lease right now, and yeah, sure, it's not like a apartment or anything.
This is hitting home for you. Like, this is like
but they personal. Will answer their phone in the middle. Like, you're trying to get their like their birthday, social security number, things like that.
You need to exchange some serious information.
And they'll answer the phone. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, I'll be like, can you not just hit like snooze and like talk to them in 5 minutes? Sure, I understand there's families with children and things like that, but some of them it's like egregious. It's like some guy like, yo, what's up, what are you doing later? And I'm like,
yeah, we're gonna hang out. Wait, we're still good for lunch. And there's one guy keeps holding me off. I don't know why, but yeah, what's up? Like, and you're like, seriously, I'm right here in front of you.
Yeah, those are terrible. Those are terrible. I'm like, what? Oh, sorry, I'm just now going down the phone list.
No worries.
People who answer the phone and say, hey, oh, sorry, I'm doing something, I'm kind of busy, let me call you back. Why did you answer the phone?
Yeah, just don't answer.
Why did you answer the phone?
Just don't answer.
Yeah.
My mom's friend did that to her, but my mom's friend called her maybe I shouldn't say this because she's probably listening, but it's okay. My mom's friend called her and said, "Hey, just calling you to let you know I can't talk right now," and she hung up.
Yeah, that's.
And
funny.
I'm like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah, she just did that." And I'm like, "She called you to let you know she can't talk?" She's like, "Yeah." Like, that doesn't make any sense. She's like, I mean, you need new friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's phone etiquette is such a bizarre thing, and I actually had a little fun question to ask students earlier this year. I asked them, "Do you know why they call it hanging up the phone?" And none of them knew why. Why do you call it hang up? What are you hanging? And they couldn't figure. They didn't know that like back in the day, you had a phone like up on the wall, sometimes with a cord, and you literally hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Like literally, like put up, you hang it, and then you click, and then. But now, like you can't. The term "hanging up the phone" doesn't quite make any sense in the context of a cell phone because you're not hanging it anywhere.
That must be weird to someone like really young too. They'll be like, "Did you hang up on me?" It's like, what is hang up?
Yeah, maybe they. I mean, I'm sure kids say it and not know where it comes from.
Yeah, they just know what it means, but when they think about it, I'm sure they're like, "What?"
They start. And again, I guess that fits into the theme. Like words are tough and weird, but it's as you can see, when I talk about things I don't like, I'm very passionate and vocal.
Yeah, this has been one of the longer episodes, and
No
which is
worries.
awesome. I have one more thing that I wanted to do because there's a reason behind it to show some awareness.
Right.
So for one of mine was people who complain a lot, and people who complain about like mundane things that are like everyone's going through and things like that. Like working, things like that. And there's some people that are just complainers. But recently, I found that there was a news story. And I'll link that news story as well. There's a lot of links in this description. But I think it was a Japanese actress, I'm pretty sure. And she was diagnosed with this new like mental disorder that I'd never heard of before.
Huh.
And it's called adjustment disorder. And I was like, adjustment disorder. I'm like, this sounds like something some rich actress just made up to breach her contract.
The liberal thing you making up.
Yeah,
thing. I don't know.
Then I read up on it, and it's actually a really big thing. So it's basically people.
What is that?
And then I could fall into this boat too. Not of saying I have adjustment disorder, but people who don't like change, right? Now, let's say there's a big change in your life, or you need to move, or something like a big life event.
Right.
And let's say it's someone like, it takes some time to adjust, and that's I guess where the adjustment comes from.
Change is difficult. Even good change can be difficult.
And there's people who it will take longer than 3 months or so to adjust to that. So now a lot of these actors who are like during the pandemic not working and things like that, they're running into these issues because now they have like a 4 shoot schedule daily, and so she got pulled out of her contract, and she had all these big movies, and now the adjustment disorder comes in, and it's basically like it's only diagnosed to people who don't already have other mental health disorders. Like let's say if you have anxiety,
you can't necessarily self-diagnose yourself.
Yeah, no.
Like when people just say, "Yeah, I have a little bit of ADHD," I'm like, "Were you, did a doctor observe it?" No, I just kind of can't really pay attention. Like you just don't pay attention. Like, but yeah, so you can't self-diagnose yourself.
No, you can't. And also it can't be something where like, let's say for instance, anxiety, or let's say people who don't like to go outside. It can't be something that's exacerbated by the life event. So like, let's say if you have anxiety, you're just having worse anxiety due to this, But this is more like of a culmination of like, as time passes, you're still not in the, in this pretty much adjusted how normal
you can't
people
adjust,
should.
like no matter how much time passes.
Exactly, yeah, and like even 3 months, stuff like that. So it's a new one. I never even heard of that, and so now I'll take when people complain it with a grain of salt. But
yeah, I mean, change is difficult. I mean, like I'm getting married soon, and it's a good change, and I'm looking forward to the change. But even if it's something a good change, it's still a difficult change because I need to adjust my place and people, moving things in and all that. And she has a schedule and I have a different schedule and working together. So even though it's a good change, positive change, it's still like necessary adjustments. But, and this is a whole other topic, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. Change, like I said, has always been hard for me. I never like change, but you know, a lot of good things come from change too. So definitely, you know, just try to find, I guess, you know, it's not a PSA or anything, but you know, whoever, you know, just whatever makes your ride the smoothest as possible. A little preparation helps. And yeah, man, this has been another, you know, one of the longer episodes, but really enjoyed it.
I threw a few F-bombs in there, but they were necessary.
Yeah, we broke the record on curse words of our episodes this one, so we're sorry about that. But thanks so much for tuning in again for episode 11, Pet Peeves. My name is Jose Rodriguez.
I'm David Diokendo.
And Words Are Tough. Thank you.
Bye-bye.